Your performance is absolutely stunning in Cherry, and I was blown away by it.
Thank you so much.
That's twice you've heard that.
I know. Wow. I'm so lucky today.
How did you get into this character? Because is she like you? Is she totally unlike you?
I think that we have a lot of similarities for sure. I think that we are similar in the way that we are both kind of messy girls, in the way that we like go about life. Not in a malicious way at all, just a little bit like thinking about a lot of other things while you're trying to do the current thing. So I do feel like she was relatable to me, but I also love hearing, from even like my friends watched the movie first. And they were like, oh my God, like, is that for me? Like, did you get that from me? Or like, because she is just so relatable that I think that everyone can kind of see parts of themselves in her. Maybe not the whole time, but in certain moments or scenes, I think that she is super relatable to a lot of people.
She really comes into herself into this movie and really discovers a lot about her own self-worth and self-being.
Yeah, for sure. I think that in a lot of these, defining moments that we have, I think that it is kind of this slow burn of realizing things for yourself. And I think that she does get this appreciation for like, like I am capable of being responsible for myself and making these choices for myself and my life. And I think that it's a really great journey that we get to go on with her because, like you said, it's just she really comes into herself. And I think that that's a really special process to witness.
Now, tell me, as an actor, when you see yourself on posters, or in the back of the theater as an audience is watching you, I mean, what goes through your mind?
I'm mostly just like, ah! I actually get really anxious watching it in theaters because I think we've seen it. I've gone to theaters. I've maybe seen it 8 or 9 times in a theater, with a lot of people. And every single time I am a ball of nerves because I mean, even like if I see people like that's the first time I'd like seen myself like making out with someone that was like so uncomfortable. I think even like gosh, I don't know. I think it's also kind of like a personal thing for someone to see you get upset and to cry or to like do these things. So I kind of it felt very much like an exposure in a way that I wasn't expecting. And it's also just like a very surreal thing to see like myself on a poster because it does kind of just like I don't know, it's one of those things that you definitely dream about as a young kid of like, oh, I can't wait till I can be in a theater and experience this and people can see this work. And it honestly was not at all what I thought it would feel like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about the process you have in getting into characters. I mean, do you follow a method like Stella Adler or
Hmm.
Stanislavski? Do you just do it naturally?
I kind of pull, I've read a lot of books, done a lot of classes, and I have just pulled from certain things what I liked and what resonated with me. Music is really important for me. Cherry has her own playlist. So like I would, listen to that a lot of times, even like if I'm skating, I have my headphones in and I'm listening to Cherry's music. Um, so that is really important for me. And this was really challenging and I think a different experience than what most movies would be because we shot everything in 7 long takes. So it's an interesting thing to prepare for a scene when you're gonna be going through all of these different things at one time. And it was tricky for me as an actor to not be thinking about like for I have a fight with my boyfriend, right? And going into that scene, I'm completely optimistic that things are going to be a very different situation and I have to do my roller skating choreography. And so it's kind of hard to not think about these things in advance. So this was a really great practice for me to just really take things moment by moment. And yeah, I don't know. It's tough to get in. You really had no choice but to jump into her completely because you have to go talk to like 4 different characters and go and truly walk through the scene with her.
As the film is being released for, general audiences, what do you think they're going to take away from watching Cherry?
I hope that they take away that um, women women are more than their current situation, whatever that is. I think that we do a really good job of making it very clear that she has a full life and what keeping a child or not keeping a child would mean to her and would mean, to the people around her. So I hope that it maybe opens the eyes of someone who maybe doesn't totally agree with choices that may or may not be available to see people for who they are.
And from scratch, that must have been a wonderful experience for you.
It was, yeah, it was a dream. I got to go to Italy, which was incredible. I had never been, and like it was crazy. Also working with Zoe because all of my scenes were with her, and I've watched her since I was a little girl. But also our director, I had tested for this movie called Tall Girl on Netflix years ago, and I loved working with her, and we'd followed each other around, for years after that. And so our first day on set, it was really cool to be like, we finally made it, like we're working together. And she is just like a powerhouse, like Sophie. I mean, I've been really lucky to work with such talented women.
Yeah, Zoe's amazing. And you got
Yeah.
to work with one of my friends on, I think, Jonathan Del Arco is a dear friend of mine
Oh, wow.
from
That is so
Star Trek. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. He,
I mean, it's like I said, I've been so lucky. Like everyone has just been so welcoming. And I mean, obviously coming from a movie our size to a show of that size is a very different experience. And I had a lot of anxiety going into that because I just wasn't sure, how it would feel. But then like the other actors were so welcoming and just I, down to play, which
yeah.
I wasn't sure, would happen at that kind of level. And it was just happy surprises at every turn.
In our final moments we have, are you looking to direct maybe and produce?
Oh my God, yeah, that would be great. I feel like I've gotten a really special opportunity in working so closely with Sophie, walking through distribution and walking through just everything post Tribeca. So I would be really interested in directing or producing someday. I think I have a lot to learn before that, but I think that would be really cool. And to have the opportunity to tell stories now, that I really care about, like this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Where did you grow up, by the way?
A small town in Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah.
No, Tennessee. And you got the acting bug there, and now you're a big movie star. That's amazing.
That is very kind of you. Yeah, I mean, I started in Atlanta, and it's so weird because I feel like people don't realize, the journey that came before that because I
All hard
started
work.
out, it's so much hard work. Yeah, I mean, for 10 plus years now of, grinding it out, I spent as much time as I could in Atlanta before I moved out to LA, PAing and doing background work and just anything to get me on set to learn how this whole crazy business works. So yeah, I mean, I do feel like I've finally gotten to a certain point, but I mean, there's so many more stories to tell and so much more to do.
Well, I can't wait to swap recipes on smoked ribs with you because you are from. You take care and have a wonderful day. You were just a delight.
Thank you so much. I hope you do too.
And I hope we run into each other again. I'm going to follow you on social media now, so be aware.
Ooh, I'll be looking out. I'll follow
All
you too.
right, you better. Talk to you later.
Thank you.